Okay. You still with me?
Yeah, I was trying to find something on Google real quick.
All right. Do you want a minute? Do you want to take a 5?
No, I'm good. I found it.
To sit on your throne as the Prince of Bel Air. Hell yeah.
In my, for like one of the first speeches that we had in my speech class, we had he gave us like different songs, and the song that my group ended up getting was this. And
That's
it was
amazing.
like a straight face, making it really funny. We we talked this song. We didn't sing it. I wanted to sing it, but we weren't allowed to.
All right. So you have redone your makeup. You've stolen some onyx dice. You are still in this sort of small treasure hoard of valuable religious relics. What do you do?
Um, I'll put the dice away, and then I will start heading out back to the. Well, I'll wait a couple minutes and to make sure that one guard doesn't find me. But then afterwards, I'll head to the throne room.
All right. As you start heading forwards, you can see that there's more guards are coming up from the basement, and they have armfuls of these wooden prayer beads on each arm, and they're coming up from the stairs to the basement, taking a sharp left and then heading towards the south, presumably towards the barracks. So you can sort of squeeze past them, continue to the throne room, follow the group, or go down the staircase to see where they're coming from.
Uh, I will walk up to him and I'll be like, "Oh, does a friend need help?"
Yeah, we're trying to move all of these cursed beads. Don't you know what's going on? What are you born? What are you hatched yesterday?
I'll just look down a little bit sad again. Then I'll just say, "No, I help them."
If you want to be some help, go into the basement and get some beads. We're moving them to the barracks for tomorrow night's attack.
I'll say, all right," and I'll start heading. I'll head to the basement,
So,
kind of grumbling to myself, just be like, "That's where it came from."
as you kind of push against the grain to get to the basement, you can see that there are crates full of ordinary wooden beads being made into necklaces and then being handed to a young black dragon. They kind of hold the beads out on the tip of a spear, and the black dragon just breathes on them. There's just this noxious, almost acidic quality to its breath that burns into these wooden beads and carves arcane symbols into them. You can see the people who are like handing the beads are like visibly wasting away in real time.
So these are nothing like the beads that I got off that one kobold.
These actually appear to be identical to the wooden beads that you've had previously. They except these ones appear to be recently activated, whereas previously they seemed dead and relatively used, like almost used up.
Okay. So is there anything I can like gather on this information?
So from what you can tell, kobolds seem to be coming in here grabbing beads, enchanting them with dragon's breath, and then taking them to the barracks. You don't know the name of the black dragon. You don't know anything beyond that. You can certainly talk to the people, try to talk to the dragon, or just grab some beads and play along.
I was talking specifically about the beads that I got and these new beads. Like, is there anything I can draw from, like, having experienced one that's almost basically dead, or these fresh new ones?
Well, you distinctly remember the black kobold that was chanting in the alleyway. He was chanting with those beads, and he was making everyone around him sick by chanting while holding the beads. Everyone is now holding fresh beads. They look visibly more vibrant and deadly, but they are not chanting, so the beads aren't actively doing anything.
So I can probably gather that whatever spell that they're casting can put the effects that was on the beads onto people around them.
Yes, and in fact you can see the kobolds holding the beads out on a spear. You can see them stiffen up, harden, and their joints snap and crackle as they get another set of beads and hold it in front of the dragon. You can see them almost start to petrify, being that close to the dragon's breath.
And I can probably gather that as long as I have this one bead on me, what's happening to them won't happen to me.
Yes, you appear to be immune to the effects, whereas the unfortunate kobolds tasked with standing near the dragon appear to be slowly dying in a slow and painful death.
So you're saying it'd be really suspicious if I wasn't getting hurt when I would touch these feet.
That's a reasonable thing to imply.
So I'm gonna snake a hand in real quick, take off. How quickly are they getting affected by this crowd?
It looks like these kobolds are that are holding up the beads on the ends of their spears are swapped out every few minutes. And you think if they were in there a few seconds longer than they are, they'd probably fully petrify.
Okay. And am I able... And you said that there was people carrying these to the barracks. I'm guessing these would be in boxes.
They've got their arms out, almost, like they've got their hands clasped together like they're in prayer. And on each forearm, they've got a stack of these beads on each arm.
So basically, the guys that were carrying the beads were also about to be petrified.
The ones that are carrying the beads away look ill, but not nearly as sickly as the ones who are consistently that close to the source of the energy, to the source of this petrifying chemical.
All right. So I'll leave the bead on, and I'll do what they were doing, and I'll gather some of the beads up and mimicking what they were doing, and start walking to the armory. Well, the place they were heading.
I would like you to make a performance check to mimic the symptoms of the people who are weakened by being that close to the dragon's breath.
Yeah.
So as you, as somebody with the spear sort of hands you a stack of beads, you kind of go, cough, cough, and they're like, don't be an ass. Wait a minute. Are you really not sickened by this? And you see them, a couple of the black kobolds start to surround you. There's about 4 of them on you. And one is getting right in your face.
I need to weigh my options here. How outnumbered am I?
There's 4 in your immediate vicinity. There's one with the spear who looks way too sickly to do anything threatening. And there's this constant conga line of new kobolds coming in, grabbing beads, and leaving.
And then there's also the Dragon Boy.
Yeah, there's also a giant fucking dragon within 10 feet of your face.
Okay. So there's no way, if I were to fight, there's no way I could get everyone with enough time to make sure that no one escapes.
What do you think your odds are against a CR10 dragon? CR7 dragon?
Not very good.
I feel like...
I'm one person against the CR10 monster.
You'll be fine. Punch him in the face. I dare you.
I mean, my punches can be pretty devastating, but So fighting is not the option here, but performance isn't either.
They're increasingly suspicious, and they're kind of expecting an explanation, and it looks like the one in front of your face is about to touch your face, potentially smearing your paint.
I'm going to fall over and act unconscious.
You don't have the feigned death? No, you don't. You're a monk. Make a performance check.
I mean, if it would give me advantage, the specific type of monk I am is Way of the Long Death.
I don't think that mechanically makes sense, but that is hilarious, so I'll grant it to you.
Yay! 3. Yes.
You stiffen up like you've just been petrified and fall over like a log and just kind of rattle to the ground, frozen in place. You're not even going limp, like you're still supported by your knees and elbows, unmoving, barely breathing. And they're like, well, shit, I guess some people have a delayed effect. Get him to the medical bay. Get this man out of here. He's clogging up traffic. You are put on a stretcher by 2 kobolds and carried out of the room.
Alright. I let them take me wherever they're going to take me.
They actually take you 2 doors down from the throne room. They kind of haphazardly dump you onto a medical bed. You've got a sick black kobold on either side of you, currently sleeping. You can see their bodies slowly loosening up and unstiffening. And there's a female kobold nurse tending to them. And she wanders over to you and she goes, oh, my. You look like you got the worst of it. Oh. Well, let's see what I can do. And she brings up her hands and starts casting Lesser Restoration on you.
As she starts doing it, I'm just going to make it look like my joints are slowly loosening.
You don't need a check for that. She expected that to happen, so you're playing into what she thinks is going to happen. She's like, well, I'm glad to see you recovering quickly. And as you look around the room, you see next to you, there's a tray of medical supplies, including a mysterious liquid, a hypodermic needle, a scalpel, and a surgical bone saw.
Oh, that's not very reassuring. I just continue on with whatever is happening currently.
So the spell finishes, and she wanders over to the needle, and she sticks the needle into the bottle and pulls something out. And she goes, "This is a sedative. This will make you go night. You'll be out for hours. Trust me, you'll wake up feeling alive and refreshed."
Okay, now, hear me out. Did any of the beads that I was carrying manage to make their way in here with me?
The one bead that you took with you from home is still on your person, unless you're talking about a different bead.
The other beads.
Oh, the wooden beads. They were removed from your person when you played dead to be given to someone else to carry them out.
Could I have Roland a sleight of hand check to try and snatch a single bead?
That would have been pretty hard to do, seeing as you're pretending to die. Make a sleight of hand check with disadvantage. Well, not pretending to die, but pretended to fall sick to the illness. You have to spell out sleight of hand. That's a no from me, friend.
Okay. So, as she says that, I'm gonna quickly bolt up and just be like, what happened? What happened? Hoping that can't like scare her to end up like probably dropping the needle.
You're trying to what?
I was hoping that me jolting, quote unquote, awake would have scared her enough to like drop her needle.
You can either make an intimidation check to scare her into dropping it, or you can make a sleight of hand check to knock it out of her hands while making it look like it's just part of your waking up spasms.
I wonder which one he'll go for.
I don't know what your stats are.
I mean, you've seen all my other charisma rolls.
Yeah, that +0 to performance isn't helping you out much.
15 on sleight of hand.
So as you start flailing around and freaking out, you quickly disarm the needle and chuck it on the ground, and since it's made out of glass, it shatters instantly. She's like, "Oh, dearie me! Ah, you scared me!"
And I'll quote unquote calm down, and I'll be like, oh, sorry, I did not mean to scare. An inward wink to self.
She's like, "Well, I guess you're more lively than I thought you were. I thought you were at death's door. You had me worried."
Must be like, well, I feel fine. I should probably get back to work.
Of course. Best wishes.
I will thank her, then head out.
Alright, so 2 doors down is the throne room, and then immediately to your left is the men who are carrying these beads from the basement to the barracks.
Are these men that I recognize from over there?
It's the people who are like carrying beads away. It's a constant revolving, like men go in, they drop them off, and they go get right back in line to pick up more. So you're seeing the same like 20-ish faces over and over again.
Well, making sure that none of them can see my face, I'm going to try and quickly and stealthily get into the throne room.
There's a lot of podiums and like pillars with like decorative vases and whatnot on there, so you can relatively easily sneak behind one at a time. Make a stealth check with advantage, because none of them are paying attention. They're all looking dead-eyed straight ahead. Oh,
You wanna?
you melt into those pillars. They're actually the same color of black as you are, so you melt into those shadows like nobody's business. And voop, 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 and you're able to get into the shadow of the door of the throne room, and you can see everything inside.
All right. What do I see?
You can see what look like scholars, or at least very learned men, standing next to generals, and you can easily distinguish them between the scholarly robes and men carrying books and with eyeglasses, between the strong, tall generals wearing armor and with swords on their hips. And they appear to be arguing over some sort of plan, but they're too far away for you to hear in the shadow behind the door.
That's what I thought. Well, from what I can gather, they're planning some type of an attack the next night, and I need to somehow stop that. Easiest, but plan F is to murder everyone, because then there'd be no one left to do the attack. Uh, I'd like to make my way to the bear armory where they're taking the beat.
All right, yeah, if you want to make your way to the barracks, you can, based on your previous stealth check, you can easily slide back into that single file line and just march right on back to the barracks without issue.
All right, I do that.
So you can see that in the barracks, there are crates full of these beads, and there's like dollies to like wheel them out. There's wagons that they're loading the crates onto, and you can also see drums of oil with flint and steel kept in separate crates on the opposite end of the room from the oil. You're not sure what they're planning to do with that oil, but judging by the flint and steel, it's probably going to be a little bit toasty when that's rolled out.
So from what I've explored of it so far, how flammable does the castle look?
The castle itself is made out of solid gold and will almost certainly not burn down. Like the banners, the carpeting, the drapes, the robes, all of that will catch. The castle itself, you're going to need something way hotter to burn it down.
Like dragon's breath?
You could say so. Or perhaps lots and lots and lots of oil.
Almost as if we had the same idea.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have come? So I'm going to get some of the oil. I'm going to get more. I'm going to pour it over the bead. You know, give them a glossy shine, you know.
So there's about 20 kobolds moving in and out of the room at all times. So you're going to start oiling up the beads in front of about 20 enemies?
I mean, I'd wait until the room is empty, then try and do as much as I can at one time. And make it look like I'm taking inventory when they're in there.
Okay, it's relatively reasonable to assume someone would be taking inventory, but it's going to take several hours for them to get done. So do you just kind of hang out here for a couple of hours?
What time of day is it currently?
So even though it was like dusk when you left, it has been several hours at this point, and it's probably about halfway through the night. And if you're waiting a couple of hours, you're going to be waiting until dusk for everyone to get done, because they are working throughout the night to get this done.
All right. So yeah, I'll do that.
All right. As the commanding officers walk in, they say, "All right, everybody in the barracks, everybody to bed. We got a big day tomorrow night." I'd like you to make a stealth check to weasel out of his view and hide out in the storage room while everyone's piling in to the barracks.
18.
You melt into the shadows like a proper ninja. The lights go. The kobolds leave. The commanders leave. You are alone, and the sun starts to ever so slightly creep over the horizon, spilling golden beams into this room.
Right. So I'll start pouring oil on the beads. Well, I'll make sure to get one thing of beads and like quickly slip them into my pocket. Just in case.
Smart move.
And yes. No, I'll make sure I'll get 2 of the necklaces.
2 full necklaces, 12 beads each, so that's 24 beads.
All right. I will then start pouring. So I'm a kobold, so I'm guessing everyone sleeps from dusk to dawn.
Yes, they do not. Due to that sunlight sensitivity, they have no desire to have their eyes open when it's bright out. They're all moving to the barracks, which are below the storage room, and they're underground, immune from the light, and they're snoozing.
All right. Then, there is that black dragonborn I have to worry about, but I can probably take the guess that doing that all night probably tires him out, correct?
Based on what you could tell, he was probably doing that for 12 hours straight, and you can only imagine what you would be like if you had to basically go for 12 hours.
True. Did that guy look like he was being forced to do it, or does it look like he was doing it of his own free will?
He definitely didn't seem excited by the prospect, but you did not show any chains or scars or any other signs of torture on the beast.
All right. So I can see him as an inch. Perfect. So I'm going to start gathering up as much oil as I can, and I'm going to spend hours covering the entire cap, pouring oil as much as I can throughout the castle.
All right. It only takes maybe 10% of the overall barrels in order to completely douse these wooden beads because they're very absorbent and that oil just gets everywhere. So there's still a substantial number of fuel barrels left over. Do you dump them out to get rid of them, or do you keep them there?
My plan is to go throughout the entire castle and pour as much oil as I can everywhere.
So if you're going through this, multi-acre large castle spreading oil everywhere, that's going to take a couple of rolls.
All right.
So, unsurprisingly, you're going to have to roll a stealth check at disadvantage because you're carrying massive steel barrels of oil, dumping it without getting seen by the night watch, or the day watch, rather.
Well,
let me look at the kobold's passive perception really quick.
I can tell you now, mine is 12. And unless if they have a really good wisdom, then they probably don't have that.
Kobold's passive perception is a whopping 8. So, despite not being the stealthiest ninja in the clan, kobolds apparently have shit perception. So you're able to douse the castle. The second problem is having the strength to just lift these massive barrels onto the dollies, wheel them out over and over and over again. Make both a athletics check and a constitution saving throw to keep up the pace and cover acres of territory with oil.
Actually, we'll go on athletics. Did athletics also need to be made at disadvantage?
No, athletics and constitution save are just straight.
Okay. Of course, it would be constitution.
All right. So you have the stealth to do it quietly, the physical ability to actually carry out the task, but by the end of it, you were exhausted. Take a level of exhaustion. You're going to need a long rest to get rid of that. And that took about 6 hours, so the day is half over.
All right. Perfect. So I would have taken a couple flint and stills with me, and where should I start this?
Up to you. Depends on what you're trying to do.
Okay. Is everyone sleeping in the same barracks, or is there like multiple barracks or different rooms?
The barracks appear to be divided by the class. So you've got the guards in the guards barracks, you've got general workers in their barracks, the royals in their barracks, and then of course the king gets his whole, wing dedicated to himself.
Okay. So I'm going to start fires outside of all their doors, and then set fires on what seems to be like the support beams in each place, and then I'm going to book it out the front.
All right. So you douse the entire place in oil. You spark that flint and steel at like a trail of gasoline, and as it snakes towards it, you run to the next place, spark, fire, and you see the flames snake forwards. And as you sprint towards the end, right at the entrance of the barracks, they start going off one by one. Boom! Flames! Boom! Flames! Boom! This wing, the oil is burning, the fabric, the furniture, anything other than the gold building itself catches fire. And within moments, you can see the castle start to melt and bend inwards. Everyone panics, screams, and starts running out, but the doors are melting shut.
And just to make sure, I've already made it out, right?
You have already made it out.
Perfect. Then I'll just kind of wait at the front entrance to make sure no one else gets out, and of course being outside. And if they do, I'm going to attack.
All right. It goes on for several minutes with the screams just, digging into your ears, grating against your soul. And then it starts to get very quiet. And then you can feel a rumbling from the ground, like there's some sort of earthquake. And you can hear heavy, heavy stomping.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good.
You can hear a just boosh, 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 and you see a black claw burst from the molten golden walls, and a handful of sick, smoke-choked kobolds just sort of fall out of the walls and spill out. They fall to their hands and knees and choke and gasp for air, and you can see the young black dragon burst from the walls, breathe acid into the air, roar, and start looking around. You were exhausted.
Can I... Hold on. Level 1 exhaustion. At disadvantage on ability checks. So I would like to try and hide at disadvantage.
You certainly can try. There's a few wooden and stone structures you can hide behind that you did not light on fire.
17.
All right, let me roll for perception for this dragon.
Yes.
No way. Oh, man. The black dragon does not see you, and it shoots into the air and starts crashing into the castle at various points, letting out the kobolds who are still alive, letting them spill out. They're weak, they're suffocating, their lungs are smoke-coated. They are not a threat, but this dragon is pissed, and you just see him randomly assaulting any non-golden structure with gouts of acid. And one thing you notice is this dude appears to have near infinite acid, just blah, melts, blah, melts within seconds of each other.
Okay. So, I'd like to stealthily make my way over to some random kobolds, sleight of hand a flint and steel into his pocket, and then stealth back.
What are you trying to slip into his pocket?
One of the flint and steels that I had.
Oh, it's evil. All right. Make a sleight of hand check at disadvantage. You don't need to stealth. They're on their hands and knees dying. But you will need a sleight of hand so they don't notice a hand going into their pocket.
11.
Their passive is 8. He doesn't notice.
So I'm gonna slip it into his pocket, but make it noticeable that it's in there, and then I'm gonna stealth back.
All right, you were able to do that, and you can see the king is rushed out by a royal escort with a wet cloth over his mouth to protect him from the smoke, and he goes, "Who's responsible for this? Who? I want every man patted down."
No, honestly, I feel like the kobold I put the flint and steel into is Kevin.
You know what? Sure. So the one that you put the flint and steel into, you see he's got a nasty bruise on his face. Looks like he was hit in the face with either a really heavy fist, possibly like a staff or club or something. Like his face got fucked up. And you can see as they're patting everyone down, the king goes over to this man and he goes, "God damn it, Kevin, this better not be your fault again." He goes, "I swear, sir, it wasn't me. It wasn't me either time. Please don't hit me, please, sir." And he pats it, reaches into his pockets, pulls out the flint and steel. "You have disappointed me for the last time, Kevin." And he takes his dragonhide shield and just bashes him in the face. You can see his skull crack. His face becomes concave, and he falls to the ground completely still.
Oh. What have I done?
You killed Kevin! You bastard!
God damn it, Cartman. Alright, if that happens, I'm just gonna bid my time and wait.
So you see very quickly kobolds start fanning out and turning over every rock, so to speak, to look for any other evidence of tampering, and they're getting very close to you. There's an open prairie with tall grass that has not been kept or weeded, and then it's quite a distance from here to the mountains where it's a lot easier to hide.
True. I would like to quickly and stealthily yeet myself on out of there.
All right, make a stealth check at disadvantage to hide in the tall grass and crawl out of there.
10.
Their passive is 8.
I know.
God damn it. Even at disadvantage, you're 100% ninja to these people. So you drop on all fours and slowly crawl through the tall grass. You know, cockleburs and poison oak brushes up against your hands, but you do not care. You are moving as slowly as possible. Ticks start crawling on your arms, and you're like, not today, not today. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna live. And it takes you until sunrise to get to the mountains. That's hours of slowly crawling through the grass.
Then I'm going to try and find like a small little spring to like clean the paint off of me.
There's no spring in the mountains, but if you go into the valleys low, it'll be very easy to find a source of water.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So you're able to wash off. You're able to get most of it off, but there's still kind of a gray tinge to your skin from how long this paint has been sitting on your scales.
Now, I'm a smart kobold, right?
I would hope so.
And as smart as I am, and seeing as I'm, out in nature, and seeing as I'm also proficient in an herbalism kit due to my background, could I make like a form of body wash that is meant to get off this exact type of paint?
Let me look up like what chemically soap is made of and just see if that exists in nature. One moment.
I feel like my bullshitting is about to end.
I mean, it could happen, but it needs to actually exist. Soaps are made from the fats and oils that react with lye. It can be made from coconut oil, palm oil, or any kind of vegetable oil or liquid animal fat. So, it is easy to get oil from a plant. It is not easy to find lye. Make a survival check to track that shit down.
At 10.
You were able to find all the ingredients except for the lye. You could probably, just using the naturally occurring plants, get a little bit more of it off, but there's still going to be a gray stain to your scales. So, do you take a long rest here, or do you walk the entire rest of the way home while exhausted?
I will dash home.
I would like you to make a con save.
I'll dash to the castle.
I would like you to make a con save as you attempt to push yourself to run while already exhausted. You now have level 2 exhaustion.
Yeah.
Do you have any movement speed?
Hold on. Level 2, my speed is half, so that means my normal movement speed would be 20, but since I'm dashing, it's still 40.
Alright. It takes you forever. You nearly collapse when you get to your hometown. You can see that Reginald is waiting for you.
I went to the castle. That's where I felt like I had to go afterwards.
As you get to the town on your way to the castle, you collapse at Reginald's feet. He picks you up, puts you on his back, and carries you the rest of the way as the castle, as you are barely hanging on to consciousness at this point. So everybody makes way for Reginald, a well-respected and well-known dragon. No one's going to get in his way. So you get all the way to the castle, which is still about a mile away from where you collapsed, but he just bounds through the town and gets you there in no time. He skids to a stop and just sort of headbutts the door to get the guards' attention. They kind of carry you inside and bring you to the king. You see the magnanimous, magnificent King Dragul walk down, run to greet you. His body covered in that golden ooze. My child, or not my child.
Yeah.
Grank, it's so good to see you. Where have you been? What happened?
I hold up a finger, I take a breath, and then I pass out.
The royal mage takes over from here as you start to pass out, and he goes, you can barely hear him talk as you start to pass out. He was sent on a mission by me to go save the day. We'll have to find out if he succeeded or not once he wakes up. 8 hours goes by before you wake up at home with Reginald just sort of staring in through the window, waiting for you to wake up.
Long rest, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And will I get rid of both levels of exhaustion or just one?
Both.
Okay. Perfect. So as I wake up, I look at Reginald, just like, okay, I feel a bit better.
Reginald looks at you and says, "It's good to see you awake, sir. Shall we return to the king?"
Yes, that'd be good.
So as you are brought before the king, you see that the people are moving around. They're still a little stiff, still a little sore, but they're moving again. And you can see every couple of blocks, there's just a red stain on the ground where someone was violently murdered.
That sounds about right.
So you're brought before the king, who is looking substantially better than he was before, and he goes, "Grank, tell me exactly what happened and what is to come."
Grank is a simple man, right?
I should say so.
So he's going to tell him everything that happened with every little detail. Nothing gets left out.
I see. Even though you have taken care of the worst of it by burning those beads, I still feel they will attempt an attack at nightfall as revenge for what you've done. I think we still have to man the city walls.
And I'll hold out the 2 necklaces I managed to grab, and I'll be like, these are beads that they were using to do the paralyzed thing to people. And I look towards the mage. Does he still have the bead on him?
Yes, he still has the he's recovered the beads that you originally gave him, the metal beads, from the guards after they completed their task.
All right. So once he has those, I'll be like, those are the evil beads. And I'll hold up the ones. I'll hold up the one that I got off the first kobold, and I'll be like, it seems like these and those. Just make sure that both of those were basically the same thing. Only one was about to run out, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then I'll explain that to him.
You know, we could definitely arm our troops with these if I could replicate them. It would take some time. And he is going to make an Arcana check to see if he can replicate the spell.
Rolls nat 20. Alfred, this is why I called you Bad Bot.
He does not figure out the enchantment, and he is not able to reproduce it, and he's like, I guess we'll just have to make do with what we have.
I'll say, oh wait, how about if you do it like this, and then I'll repeat what I heard that first Kobold doing.
All right, go ahead and try to replicate the enchantment. Roll Arcana.
13.
You have a vague idea of how it works, but it's just not quite there, and you get maybe one bead that you think kinda makes people weaker, but you're not confident in what you've created.
Alright. But I'll look at him and be like, try something like that. Hoping that gives him advantage in the future.
I'll try again, but this'll take hours. Go on your way. We have a battle to prepare for. So you have until nightfall. You have about 4 hours to prepare for an invasion.
4 hours, right?
Yes. What would you like to do for the next 4 hours?
Well, I know the first thing I would have done is I would have asked the king to see if there was anything he could provide me with to give me an edge in the upcoming battle.
He goes, I'm afraid all I can do is strengthen what you already have. Tell me, what is your strongest weapon?
I kind of hold up my fist, like these.
You hold up your what?
My fist.
You hold up your fists?
Yes.
He goes, I have a limited gift. All I can do is strengthen what you already have. Please stand in the alchemical circle.
I stand in the alchemical circle.
It is a 1-hour ritual where the king appears to know a very unique spell to strengthen whatever is in the circle, and you can feel your fists start to harden and strengthen. You can feel the bones in your fist harden to almost diamond levels. Your fists now have a +3 to hit and do +3 damage. Your fists are now magic weapons.
2 override hit, so that'd be +3. 3. Okay. So that needs to be a... Okay. I think I've done it. I can go in and modify my to-hit modifier.
Alright, so modify your 2-hit modifier and then modify the damage as well. And then update your character sheet.
Yeah. Perfect.
Alright, you have 3 hours left to prepare. Is there anything else you would like to do?
I would like to go to the... I'd like to go somewhere to get some healing potions.
Alright. Being as the tale of your deed has spread far and wide and has been verified by the king, you have access to what limited magical supplies. Roll 1d6 and see how many potions of healing they have in stock.
Sounds about right.
They have 2 in stock, so you can add that to your inventory. They only have uncommon potions.
Will I have to pay for them?
You were given you're given some of these potions. You're given the 2 healing potions for free.
Okay. And these are just the normal ones?
Yep, potions of healing.
So, healing pot. I will go around. I'm going to go back home with Reginald, of course, and I want to check up on the fairy dragon.
On the fairy dragons. So the fairy dragons have had a long time to rest up, so they appear to be back at their full strength. So you can pull up the character sheet for the 2 fairy dragons, and they will fight by your side because you rescued them.
Give me just a moment. All right, can you hear me?
That is so much clearer than I could hear you before.
Sadly, though, it's not very good because I don't have my headphones on because they're almost dead. So I'm gonna have to go on push to talk here and like. So yes, I'm on push to talk now, so this should be fine now.
Sounds good. All right. So the nightfall is approaching closer. You can see the sun dipping below the horizon. Any last things you'd like to do?
I'd like to try and see if I couldn't get a small party together.
So all of the able-bodied kobolds are already at the front of the city's walls, ready to fight with their slings and darts and daggers and other meager weapons. The well-trained guards have their short swords. Everyone who can fight is already at the battlefield.
Then I'll be on the front lines waiting.
All right. So your best friend stands beside you and he goes, "I will fight by your side till the end, brothers!"
Yee!
Are you ready, Gira? And you hear Gira roar and dramatically breathe fire into the sky to symbolize that she is in fact ready.
I'll just kind of look at Reginald and just look at him, just like give him a questioning thumbs up.
All right. And why do I not have Gold Dragon pulled up? I have Copper Dragon pulled up for some reason. One moment. I need to pull up your monster.
They're pretty. They're really good. They have 178 health, 18 armor class, 80 flying speed, 23 to strength for some reason.
All right. So, as the sun dips below the horizon and the moon starts peeking up with its little wobbling sister, just ever so gently cresting over the surface, the sun sinks, the moon rises, and you can hear flapping and roaring in the distance. Let me pull up a specific monster here, and then I will be ready. Alright, so over the horizon, you can see 2 young black dragons and a horde of 20 black dragon wormlings. On your side, you and your friend have 2 young gold dragons and a horde of gold dragon wormlings.
Alright, let's get this spread.
All right, so the encounter starts at 120 feet apart. Roll for initiative.
Seems about right.
All right, and then let me roll for your buddy. He will have his own initiative.
I was just about to ask, wait, Reginald, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a different.
I apologize, not Reginald, Ronk. All right, and then I will roll for the monsters and for the king. Or not the monsters, the enemy kobolds. Oof. And then lastly, I just need to roll for the king and we will be good. And then the rest of the horde will go on Ronk's turn. All right. So first in initiative, we have the enemy horde riding on the backs of their wormling black dragons, and you see whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They have a fly speed of 60, and they are dashing forward. They scream across the terrain at high speeds, their wings breaking the sound barriers. They shoot across, and they open fire on your allies, and they all deploy their breath weapons in like just this wall of acid. Let me roll for the allied horde saving throw. Let's see, they're on gold dragon wormlings, which have a dex of +2. So they just barely meet the saving throw. Let's roll for acid damage. So you can see your allies riding on their dragons. The dragons bring up their wings and they just get slammed with this wall of acid. You can see holes start to get eaten away in their wings. They start to lose altitude, just barely keeping the air. They only take 11 damage, but that was all to the wings, and that's hurting their ability to fly. Okay, next in initiative is you. So you can see the king and his first lieutenant on young black dragons at the front, and there's about 10 wormling black dragons on either side of his flank.
Alright, so I'm gonna have Reginald. You said we were how far away?
So they started at 120 feet away. The wormlings close that gap, and they're right next to the wall, well within your movement if you want to attack the wormlings and their riders. Or you can have your dragon shoot ahead and attack the king and his lieutenant directly.
Alright, so I'm on Reginald, so I'm gonna have him fly dash where he's within 30 feet of them. Then I'm going to get off, move up 10 feet, and I'm going to yeet a dart at the king.
Roll for hit.
That'd be 26 to hit and 8 damage.
Holy shit. Okay. That'll hurt.
And now I'm going to do it again. $21 to hit and 8 damage.
Nice. So you see these two darts pierce into his, they bypass his shield, pierce into his leather armor, and you just see him go, "Ugh," as he grunts and takes the damage. He's bleeding profusely from his left pectoral, but he's muscling through. You can tell immediately that this guy can take way more of a hit than his minions.
Okay. Then as a bonus action, I'm going to spend a key point to take the dodge action.
Alright. Next in initiative is your good old friend Doronk on the back of his dragon. And let's see what he's going to do about it. So he is going to fly...
Wait. I forgot the fairy dragons.
Oh, yep, you got 2 fairy dragons.
Now, would they have been on Reginald, or would they have been flying by themselves?
They would have been on Reginald unless you specified otherwise.
Alright, so they have all their movement and all their action. This is perfect. So I'm going to have both of them fly up. One will go to the king, and will use their Euphoria breath. The dragon exhales a puff of Euphoria gas at one creature within 5 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw, or for 1 minute the target can't take any reactions and must roll a d6 at the start of each of its turns to determine its behavior during the turn.
So what's the save?
Red one is going towards the king.
What save does he need to make? What save does he need to make?
A Wisdom of 11.
He is not a wise king.
I mean, I could see that.
Oof! That is an 8, my friend.
Alright, that means he can't take reactions, and at the start of each of his turn, he has to roll a d6 to determine his actions. And now, the second fairy dragon, where is that one young dragon wormling that was at the castle earlier?
Okay, so there's 2 young dragons. The one you saw earlier is being ridden by the king, and then there's a horde of dragon wormlings at the front of the city walls, currently spewing acid onto your friends and family.
Alright, then I'll have the second one do the same thing to the dragon that the king is riding on.
Nice, okay. Alright, so he's going to spray his Euphoria breath on the young black dragon. Wisdom save, not particularly wise either, to be honest. 6.
Same thing that happened with the king happens to him.
Alright, and does that end your turn?
Yes, that is everything now.
Alright, so your friend is going to fly let's see, how fast can his dragon fly? One moment.
Is it a gold young dragon?
Yes, you both have the same dragon. Okay, so fly speed of 80. So his dragon is going to fly up 80 feet, and he is going to ready action weakening breath. He's still not close enough to hit, because it's a 30-foot cone, so he's too far away. But he's going to ready action weakening breath once an enemy gets within range, and then your ally is going to ready action hit with his sling, and then he is going to hold. All right, and after your friend Ronk, it is the king's turn.
Roll a d6.
5.
Right, so the target doesn't move, and the only thing it can do on its turn is make a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw, ending the effect on itself on a 6.
That's a 1, my guy.
I think that just barely misses it.
All right, and I believe that's
a barely by like 10, I want to say.
And then I'll roll for his dragon. 7.
That was a d20.
Oh, I'm an idiot. 5 again.
Make another wisdom save.
6. These rolls are ass.
Alright, so the king and the dragon doesn't do anything.
Alright, so his lieutenant and his lieutenant's dragon are also going to go on the king's turn. You are easily within, let's see. So he is going to fly up to you, and he's going to command his black dragon wormling to hit you and your friend Ronk with a acid breath. I would like you to make a dexterity throw using the gold dragon stats, because you're riding him.
I am not riding him. I hopped off and moved up about 10 feet, but I do get advantage because I did use a key point to take the dodge action.
You didn't hop off a shit. You're 100 feet in the air.
Oh, that wasn't explained to me.
I apologize. No, you're flying on the back of a dragon in this campaign called Dragon Rider.
So a dexterity saving throw using Reginald's stat.
Yes, sir. So I do apologize for not making that clear, but yeah, this is aerial combat. You're about 100 feet from your doom. If you fall off your dragon, it's gonna hurt. That's 10d6.
I'm guessing a 17 saves.
17 saves. Let me see if a 13 does as well. Yeah, the check is 11. So both of you save, taking half damage on this 5d8 acid.
Yeats and Kobold.
You both take 11. So you see Ronk fall unconscious, falling on his dragon. You take 11 points of acid damage as well, directly to the face. Reginald thanks you for not letting any spill on him.
Of course he would.
All right, and then the lieutenant himself is going to attack. What does he get? So he is going to fire a firebolt at you.
Bitch can try.
Does a 14 hit your armor class?
The bitch failed.
All right, you tilt your head to the side, and the firebolt just whoosh swings by your head.
Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. Really quick question. Would this be considered, a missile attack?
No.
Or let's say it's a ranged attack.
No. For the purposes of your monk ability, it is not a projectile. It's a magic attack. It specifically calls out catching magic missile. It does not call out any other ranged spells. Alright. And that is going to end the king and his lieutenant's turn. Time for the bad boys. Wait. When did I miss? Oh, my apologies. On Ronk's turn, I was supposed to have your friendly allies attack. So I will do that now, and I apologize for completely forgetting about that. So the Gold Dragon Wormlings... The Gold Dragon Wormlings, already face-to-face with their black foes, will hit their enemies with their own Fire Breath attack. So they will just exhale Fire Breath in this 15-foot cone. I'll have the enemies roll for dexterity. What's a black dragon's dexterity? 2. Okay. And they succeed, taking half damage from a hit of 4d10. Alright, you see the enemy horde just get hit with this wall of fire damage. So they get blasted, their wings start to get singed. You see them drop a few feet as their wings struggle to keep up with these holes that have been burned in. So both the friendly and enemy hordes are about like 5 feet below you at this point. And then...
Wouldn't the king supposed to make a strength saving throw when I hit him with a dart?
Oh yeah, I suppose I've done that for everyone else. So I'll also employ that on you. So anytime you get hit or he gets hit, strength save. I'll go ahead and roll that now. I will actually give him advantage because he is tied into his mount, unlike the people on the Wormlings.
And should I go ahead and do the same?
If you were struck on your turn, then yes. You can roll with advantage because you have stirrups, you're properly secured, unlike the people on the Wormlings who just have saddles.
That would be 20, my good friend.
Alright, with a 14, he stays on his mount. Alright, it's time for the enemy horde. Let's see if they can recharge their weapons. Four, they fail. So they're going to have to go in to the melee with their bites and their scratches and their headbutts and the bite is +4 to hit. 1d10 plus 2 piercing. Okay. That is not going to hit. So you see this horde of black dragons go in for claws and bites and gnashing of teeth and swinging of tails. But you see that your allies are more dexterous than they are, and they sort of dive bomb and swerve and fly over, and they're just sort of spinning over each other in the sky. And there's just a line of chaos behind you. All right, next is Grank.
Alright, so Grank is, he feels a bit more confident in what he's about to do. I need to make sure of one small... Yeah, he's just gonna yeet 2 more darts.
Yeet away, friend. A 22 is going to hit. And a 19 is also going to hit.
So that's another 14 damage, and he'd have to make a couple more strength saves.
He stays on his mount. But you do a substantial amount of damage. You pierce his other pectoral. He's bleeding relatively severely at this point, but he's still angry and still physically strong.
And still has that euphoria breath going for him. Oh, speaking of... So now that good friendo Dragon is here, and he didn't use his action yet, he's going to take a deep breath, and everyone that's within a 30-foot cone of him needs to make a DC 17 dexterity saving throw or take 10d10 fire damage.
Oh, shit.
Fire breath. Gotta love it.
So the king rolls a nat fucking 1. His lieutenant on his dragon got a 21.
What about the dragons?
They are riding the dragon, so those rolls apply to both the rider and the dragon themselves.
Alright, gotcha. So how are they feeling after about 45 points of fire damage?
Alright, so you see the lieutenant is actually dead. The king is clinging to life by a thread.
Well, it's a good thing I have 2 more friendos that can do stuff. So I'm gonna quickly see if they can't recharge their euphoria. One of them does, but that's not important. So, let's see. They do have some innate spellcasting, but I don't think. Hold on. I will have one of them use its innate spellcasting to cast color spray. So anything within a 15-foot cone of it needs to make a DC 13. Hold on. Or is it I roll then they save? A dazzling array of roll 60, 10. Oh no, I just have to roll it. Okay, it's like the sleep spell. So I have to roll 60, 10, and yeah, it's very complicated. I'll just copy pasta.
Please do.
But yeah, so it'll affect creatures with 44.
So anyone with 44 HP or less is affected, and what happens? Okay, so the king is blind.
What about the dragon?
The dragon, let's see. So 40. Let me check how much HP the dragon has. The dragon is also blind.
I will have the other one move in to bite the king.
Go for it. Seeing as the king is blind and toasted to shit, I'll give you advantage on this attack.
He takes 1 piercing damage. That's all the fairy dragons do.
You're still kicking.
Although I do completely plan on letting the fairy dragons kill him.
Okay. Alright, anything else you want to do on your turn?
I think that is everything. So yes.
Alright. So I'm going to have, so it's Ronk's turn. So Ronk is going to be like, I think you got this one, mate. I'll leave the heroics to you. I'm going to help out our allies. And he peels backwards on his dragon, has him shoot back to the front lines, and he is going to pull out a flask of some sort of liquid, and he is going to hurtle it at the swarm. That is a hit, and you see as he throws this glass vial, it explodes with this lightning energy, this chain of lightning that shoots from dragon to dragon to dragon. Let me pull up that spell really quick.
Is this the lightning bolt spell?
This is the chain lightning spell. He literally had lightning in a bottle. I'm just pulling up to see how many that can affect. So 3 bolts.
It's within 30 feet of the first target, and they take 10d8 lightning damage.
All right, I will have them roll for dexterity. One moment. That is not a success. So you see as he throws this lightning in a bottle, slams it into the back of one black dragon, and you see 3 bolts just bounce, bounce, bounce from dragon to dragon to dragon in this chain of lightning. You see 4 dragons and their riders just drop out of the sky. He has taken out 4 wormlings on his own, and he turns back and gives you a thumbs up and says, I got this! Finish off the king!
I just give him an awkward thumbs up.
And speaking of which, it is the king's turn.
Roll a d6.
5 again!
Make another wisdom save.
11.
That meets it.
Alright. Angry, blind, and near death, the king draws a magical longsword, leaps from his dragon, and tries to do an aerial step.
I'm gonna stop you there. That, honestly, it does sound cool and all, but it does specifically state the target doesn't move, and the only thing that it can do on its turn is make a wisdom saving throw.
God damn it. Okay.
I mean, that and the king's blind.
Yeah, he was straight up gonna leap off of his dragon blind with his longsword. Alright, so that makes it the enemy horde's turn. Deck saves all around. Success. Alright, so your allies take another 20 points of damage while their dragons do. Let me just double check how much HP the gold dragon wormlings have. No, they're good. Alright, you see another wave of acid hit your allies. But your allied dragons block it with their wings and they stay in the air. It is now your turn.
Alright, step 1. Will Reginald get his breath weapon back? Yes, he does. Not... oh, well... maybe? He will use his weakening breath, so he will need everyone within a 30-foot cone to make a strength saving throw of 7.
I got a 14 for the king and a 17 for his dragon.
Alright, so the dragon will save, but the king won't, so he has disadvantage on strength-based attacks, checks, and saving throws. Could I take a voluntary disadvantage on a dart attack to deal only 1 damage to the king?
No.
Dang. Okay. So there's no way I can only deal a single damage to him.
No.
So I will have... do what?
No, I was just reiterating that. No, you cannot control exactly how much damage your dart does.
I tried. But I will have both of the fairy dragons bite at him.
Alright, he is blind and weak. They roll with advantage. That is a miss. Let me see if that hits. That is a hit.
The king takes 1 point of damage.
And then he has to roll. He just barely manages to cling on his dragon. He flies off. His feet in the stirrups are the only thing keeping him on. He nearly flew off as your fairy dragon bit into him and tried to rip him off.
A yeet. And Reginald will take the dodge action on his turn.
Alright, are you going to attack?
No.
Alright, so that's going to make it Wrong's turn. Let me roll to see if his dragon recharges. And it does. So Fire Breath deals, oh shit, 10d10 damage. Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you watch as your friend Ronk and his dragon pal obliterate another 4 dragons and their riders, and they fall out of the sky. Then it is the king's turn, and he finally succeeded on his save. So, blinded, weakened, near death, and angry, he is going to make an acrobatics check to leap off of his dragon and attack you with his longsword.
His longsword attack will be made with disadvantage.
And he hits you with the 10. He misses you by quite a mile and lands prone next to you on the back of your dragon.
Alright.
It is the enemy horde's turn. Alright, let's see if any of your allies are dropping out of the sky. No, they are actually still good because they took half damage. That's only like 9. So you can see your allies holding strong against a blast of acid. It is your turn. You have advantage to hit because the king is nearly dead, blinded, weakened, and prone.
I'm going to have both of the fairy dragons come and attack him.
Roll for hit with advantage. Both of those hit. How do you want to end this? That was the last of his HP.
So, the fairy dragons finally getting the courage to deal with the person that basically ordered them to be tortured, or probably was the one that tortured them, finally decides, you know what, this bitch gonna die, and pecks out his eyes.
The king screams in agony as the dragons tear out his eyeballs and just cleave off massive swaths of flesh. He is bleeding and falling off. Do you shove him, let him fall, or hold him down so they can chew on him some more?
I'ma hold him.
You hold the king steady as his formerly enslaved fairy dragons devour him alive with agonizing screams roaring out of his gullet until his throat is torn out by the fairy dragons and he goes silent.
This is fine.
You see, as the king's throat is torn out, you can see your allies throw another blast of fire at the enemy black dragons, and you see them drop like flies. Thump, 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 thump. And all of the black dragons fall to their deaths, along with their riders. You are victorious! The epilogue is yours. How would you like to wrap up your story?
So after the battle, Grank just settles back into his house, goes back to whatever he was doing before this grand adventure, and just lives a quiet life for the rest of his life.
Fair enough. So, now that we are done with this campaign, I would like to let you know what information I started this campaign with, just so you know what type of dungeon master I am. These are every single note I took in advance to plan for this encounter, which I would gladly show for you as soon as my computer starts working.
Notes. Oh no, it's him.
That is all I had to prepare for this encounter. Those are the only notes I took.
Plot. I don't know. Fly around and murder stuff that flies under the king rules orders?
I even chose a different dragon than the one I originally planned.
That would have been awesome, though. Just having all of a sudden this adult brass dragon appear and just like, surprise, motherfucker.
It was originally a adult brass dragon because I thought there was going to be more of you, and I was like, okay, if there's going to be multiple dragons, I need a stronger dragon. And an adult brass dragon seems like the way to go, but I was like, it's just him. Let's lower the difficulty a smidgen. My entire game plan was to roll dice, make it up as I go, and profit.
Oh, no, you did really good. But I would like to say real quick, the brass dragon is a metallic dragon, which Tiamat absolutely hates.
I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah, so a blue dragon would have been better. Same breath weapons, I believe, just different skin.
Alright, well, I'm going to call it a night because I have to work in the morning. Anything you want to say before I sign off?
Not much, but good night.
Night.